Stacy. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Michael, how are you? 96.
96. This is absolutely fantastic. We are marching towards episode 100.
I know.
I can feel the pressure.
I know.
I can feel it. I mean,
I know.
I know. It's like I'm in a spin cycle in the washing machine, and
Right.
I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, we have a bunch of ideas and thoughts, but we have to wait for some people to confirm. So
I know.
my God,
we know what we want, but hey,
we
we'll
do.
see what happens.
We will see what happens. In 1996, before we say what was happening in our lives, what was happening in the Stallone world in 1996?
His movie Daylight, which was awesome.
Great
Love
movie.
that. Talk about claustrophobia. Like, get me out of here.
Oh my God. Daylight was a great movie, and it also saw the return of Stan Shaw. Now, I will give you guys who are in the live chat just a few seconds. Who is Stan Shaw? Let's see. Is one of our alumni? Are they watching now? Jess Runner. Is she here? Is Jess here?
She is.
Is she there? Okay.
She's there. I see
yes,
her right there.
I'm giving you. Who I want you to answer this question. Who was Stan Shaw? Why is he important in the Rocky world? And if you don't know the answer, you're in big trouble, Tomato.
Let's see.
All right.
I think she got it.
I think she got it. She probably got it. And if she didn't get it, we look stupid. So, okay. As Jess and probably the rest of you have correctly identified by now, he was Dipper. Okay. Dipper Brown, who was given Rocky's locker by Mickey and Little Mike. Because Dipper needed it because he was a contender. You know what Rocky is? You're a tomato. So this was such a great scene. So Stan Shaw plays one of the security guards. And, of course, spoiler alert, he gets killed. He drowns. And Sue hates this scene. She really hates it because they all leave him to die.
Right.
He's got a broken neck, and they all just leave him alone to die. And it's horrible. It's horrible. But it was a very good movie. They filmed it in Rome. There's a documentary out there of Daylight, and I would implore anyone to go see it. Yeah. Before I tell you what I was doing, what were you doing in 96?
96, I was getting married to Sarah's dad.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How did it all work out?
In the end, not so much.
Not so much. But it really worked out for the best because it led you now to True
Sarah.
Love.
Yes.
And Sarah, right, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And to Kevin. But yeah, it's funny. This is one of those things about why I love Rocky and Adrian so much. And I don't want to take the piss out of Bill, but my ex, he's a sweetheart. But you do grow apart, and then you get into a space where you're not treating each other very well, and it's like, this isn't very Rocky Adrian like what are we doing? This is silliness. So yeah, in 96, we got married. It was a beautiful wedding. It was a beautiful proposal.
Good.
But we were very, very young. Like, we met when I was 18, engaged at 21, married at 23, like way too young.
That's like Elvis and Priscilla young.
Yeah. well, I was legal, but anyway, we'll leave that alone.
Moving right along.
What were you doing in 96?
In 1996, it was the second time I met Sylvester Stallone. I tell this story in depth in Cue the Rocky Music, a little book I wrote. This was the second time. It was my birthday, August 18th, and it was the summer Sly was filming Copland across the river from Edgewater, New Jersey. We woke up that morning, and she didn't tell me where we were going. I just knew it was a bus trip. I was hoping we were going to Atlantic City, and because we used to love going there and have fun. She said, "No, we're going to New York." And I was like, "Oh, all right." And she goes, I have a big surprise planned there. And so, anyways, we go to New York, and it's great. We love it, but it's really hot in the summer. So she keeps checking her watch. We're walking around Central Park or whatever, and she goes, "Oh, we got to get over to West 57th Street." I go, "Yeah." Well, that's where Planet Hollywood is. We turn the corner, and there's my entire family, cousins and all that, my brother, his wife, and so on. And we're all there. I'm like, "What are you guys doing here?" And they said, "It's your birthday. We want to celebrate." So we go inside, and back then, Planet Hollywood used to be really king of the mountain. I mean, that was the place to be. There was always a line, and they actually had a card. If you were like a private member of this Planet Hollywood club, you could jump the head of the line. and you could get preferred seating, which was a smart thing to do because the line would be an hour and a half wait.
Sure.
It was like going to Disneyland. Anyways, we get in there, we're at the bar and all these things, and the TV's playing with the movies and Sly and Arnold and all this stuff. And Sly comes walking out, and it was this amazing moment. He was heavier. He had put the weight on for Sheriff Heflin and so on. And I've told the story before, but it was a monumental moment. Anyways, here is a picture of me from that moment. It's a picture out of the book. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it up close, but my eyes are very glittery, watery.
Yep.
I literally had cried after that moment.
Yeah, of course.
Because I wasn't the sophisticated Sylvester Stallone Rocky guru I am today. I was just an insane, incapacitated Rocky fan. I was just a fanboy, and I'm still a fanboy now at my heart. That's what I am. So anyways, that's what I was doing. That's what I was doing.
Nice. Cool.
Well, did anything exciting happen this weekend?
I don't know. Gee, what was it? Look.
What could it be?
We have two people in our bubble who could not be more deserving of the moment they had this weekend at Rocky Day. Very, very big day in Rocky Land. First, I just want to give a shout out to Claudio because he's such a sweetheart. I was, I'm
looking forward to meeting him, actually.
Yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to meet him, but to get there. And I would have loved to have met everyone, but he really helped coordinate everyone in our bubble who was there. He got everybody together, and I just wanted to, I could not be happier to see this group of faces together. There's Trish, Tony, so Tony P, there's Tony C, Tony P, Rick and Claudio all together. Absolutely love this picture. And we were grateful. Sly Stallone Shop posted that for us. So that was exciting.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So what do we find out? That Tony C is one of the winners, and Rick and Tony get on and we'll be talking about this painting in a little while.
Yes.
Yeah. They got on a road trip and they're driving all around. And here's some Rick. And I was so happy for them just to be there. And here they are, the victors with Claudio.
Aww.
Just the smiles are just a little bit extra when Sly's going to be around. So here's the Tony C picture with Sly in his moment. And we're just
great.
Everything he went through with, experience with, and it's so apropos that he was chosen for this. It's just amazing. So Tony C, we're thrilled for you, and
very
thrilled
much
that
so.
You got to mention round 14 to him, and he remembered it. He recalled the podcast. So I was just happy for him. And then of course our favorite Rocky family. I shouldn't say that because I love all my Rocky families. Let me
but he's one of the loudest Rocky families.
But here's the DeGennaro family. I mean, the enthusiasm of Tony D, I'm sure it would be interesting to have his wife Valerie in your suit talk about the enthusiasm between you two guys. But here we have the DeGennaro family, 5 little ones being raised in the Rocky philosophy. Yeah.
I'd really, so I was just telling Tony, we were doing voice messages over the weekend. And so I was telling him, I really want to get him and his wife and the kids to come up and just kind of hang out for one night, do like a pizza party or something, and just kind of hang out and have fun.
Yeah.
That would be kind of fun. And I'd love to maybe do a little interview with Tony here because he's an intense guy.
Yeah.
He's an enthusiastic guy.
Yeah, he is.
And sometimes I think I can use some of that energy from him. So, hopefully Tony will get you up here sooner than later and just kind of hang out and talk all things Rocky.
No, I know he would love that. He said that to me because we've talked, before, and he's like, oh, I'd love to go to see Mike's basement and all those things. He goes, oh, but I don't want to intrude. It's like he felt a little funny asking. So no, he would absolutely love that. And I know that the kids would be they'll listen to Dad. So they'll keep their hands in their pockets.
I know. I've got these dangerous Rambo knives hanging on the wall. And the last thing I need is for it to go through someone's skull. Okay. Right. I don't need a lawsuit.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say congratulations again to both of them. They're just sweethearts. And I know, especially with the DeGennaro family, it makes you wonder, like, Sly loves tight Rocky families. He's very, very protective of the family unit. So when he sees them, I'm sure that just warms his heart. And then with Tony C, you do wonder if he knew or understood that the whole experience with thing didn't work out for him. And I'm hoping that, you know, maybe that was part of the reason that he got chosen. But perfect picks, whoever made those decisions, we are so happy for both of them.
Absolutely.
So speaking of the painting that is behind Sly Stallone Shop, did you want to introduce this? Because I have that video ready.
Yeah. Is our guest here today?
Not quite yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to talk about this, and this is remarkable. So the back of the Sly Stallone Shop, as you saw from the picture with Rick and Tony, there was a mural, and our guest today, Patrick Ganino, he is a mural artist that he is there. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, go ahead, put the volume up on that.
Okay, this is just pictures because when I was, yeah, these are just photos. He sent me these. He's like, "Hey, let me send you some close-ups." Yeah. And so I was just showing this off.
It's remarkable. I mean, it's really, and he made Rocky 5. When I went down to the shop after, and I had posted some pictures, and everybody's like, "There's no Rocky 5. What's going on?" And I said, "No, there is. Tommy Gunn and Rocky and Mickey giving him the chain. Two iconic moments, right?"
Nice.
So
right.
He did it. But so I do have a lot of questions for him about that. So Stacy, just the other day, our guest today, Patrick Ganino, this incredible mural artist, he posted a video that is something a lot of artists out there do not get from Sylvester Stallone.
Right.
We know some artists that have never gotten this recognition and validation. Would you go ahead and play this video? This is something that is absolutely inspiring to artists around the world.
That original feel, which is amazing. Move on to the second. Here's the centerpiece, number 3. Moving on to 4. And then finally, 5 and Balboa.
Congratulations, young man. You are doing an absolutely brilliant job. I think it's better than the original. I can't wait to see it in person. Congratulations. I'm very, very impressed. And know that millions of people will see will see your work. So don't forget to sign it in a very obvious place. Keep punching.
How do you get in that line? Yeah.
All right, eyes up here, ready.
Beautiful.
Well,
wow.
This is something that, I don't know, rocked my world. I can't imagine how Patrick must have felt about that. Stacy, would you bring in our very talented guest?
Yes. Hey, how are you? Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us. I was thrilled when you were willing. It's so timely with
You got me on the perfect day because after today, I'm traveling for the rest of the month. So I was like, this is my only day off.
Oh, perfect.
I'm so glad that you gave us some of your time today, because if you've seen the Sly documentary, if you followed Sylvester Stallone at any point in your life, you know, as we get older, time is our currency, as he says. So for you to take time today, we really, really appreciate that. Right off the bat, Patrick, I want to get right into your emotional thoughts about what Sly did for you in the mural. How did you get contacted to do it? How did it come about? Please give us the lowdown.
Yeah, we definitely have to go back a little ways. So it wasn't that long ago, to be honest with you. It was probably maybe a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. I was reached out by Nick Cordasco, who is partners up with Stallone in the Sly Shop, and has done something. What he's done with that brand is absolutely phenomenal. Right. And he reached out and started sort of, testing the waters with it. And like, I'm a working muralist. I've been doing murals for 25 years and my schedule's tight. The great thing is the majority of times I do murals on canvas in the studio, so I can work on multiple projects, ship them around, and they get shipped out. whereas maybe 30% of the time I'm painting murals directly on buildings in whatever state I'm in. So this one came in, and fortunately, the majority of my projects at that time were all canvas based. So I did have to call a couple customers, because the call came in a month and a half ago, and I was like, yeah, of course I want to do that. 100%. Who wouldn't? I mean, you know, first off, I'm a male that grew up in the Rocky genre. And I mean, it is what it is. We still get excited as adults,
Totally.
you know, when we hear that music or that, you know, that fight scene. And so, of course, I was like, yeah, hands down, I'm going to do it. So I had no idea what I was painting, and I had no idea what size it was, but I was like, I'll do it. So then I got reached out to by Catherine and Suda from the museum, or the regarding the museum, and they were like, come down and look at the space. So next day I drove to Philly, about 4.5 hours away, looked at it, took measurements, and I was like, all right, so we got about a 27-foot wide by 8-foot space that we can work on the back, which is directly to the left of the statue. So if you're at the statue, you look to your left, there's a mural. So initial discussions were basically just, hey, we want to do this belt, and within the belt, the ovals, we're going to add these Rocky scenes. And listen, as a muralist, I have a design, I come up with a price, I present it to the client, there's a time frame, so on and so forth. There's nothing within this situation, no rules at all. It's like, hey, we're going to do this, so I'm going to start on the belt, not knowing when I'm going to paint the ovals. And we designed it real time during the painting of it, because essentially, once I got the canvas roll in, I had to order it large, and once it came in, I had 15 days to paint this. And the reason being is the event was going to be on the 3rd, obviously. I had until I don't know, I think it was the 21st, because on the 22nd, I'm leaving for Florida for a vacation with my family, my kids, my wife, my cousins, uncles, big Italian family, you know?
Right.
And it was a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I got the belt done quick. It took me about 3 days, and then the design ideas started coming in from Nick and Stallone on what they wanted in each panel.
That was my question. I wanted to know how you came to that. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, here are these images we want. Can we put them together? And the first one came through. It was actually the 3rd panel, Rocky 3 was the first one we designed. And I have a phenomenal graphic designer named Joanne Bergeron, and I send her images and she puts them together for me. I'll give her a little bit of input. We had input from Nick and Stallone, and she was designing them, yang and naying them. I would basically get design, send it back to Nick. He would get Stallone to approve or make adjustments. So we got the first one done, and I'm starting to paint that. And then we have the second one being designed, and that one's getting done. And by the time I hit the second one, we had the third one, which was actually Rocky 2 and Rocky 4 approved. And as this is going on, I'm seeing the time click. Like, I'm like, I might miss Thanksgiving. Like, you know, I'm not going to finish this. There's over 40 portraits in there. Now, mind you, I'm a fast painter to begin with. I can do a 10 by 10 portrait of you in 2-3 hours, no problem. But we're designing, we're going through approval, we're, you know, and I'm like, and I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, I'm not finishing this. There's no way I'm finishing this in time, even if I miss Thanksgiving.
So you're getting nervous now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sort of voicing my concerns, but like, what are you going to do? So, you know, I'm like, I'm just going to do 12, 14-hour days and I'm just going to push it, man. And so that's what I did. I just would do 12, 14-hour days. I had my youngest son, who's 18, work on some smaller parts on I think it's the second panel. He worked on the Liberty Bell, the different son. That's my son Carter, my other son Colson. But he worked on the bell panel, the bell in the panel. He worked on the flag above Rocky. He worked on the left side. There's one where in Rocky 3 where Carl Weathers and Stallone are running. So a lot of the little things which didn't need. I mean, he's a great artist for his age,
right?
But he's definitely not a portrait artist. So the small things he would take care of. And then I got a call from this artist, Pierre Finkelstein. He's one of the most successful decorative artists in the world. What that means is he does gilding, ornament, marbleizing, wood graining. He can make anything look like stone, wood, so on and so forth. And I've known him for 20 plus years. We were on the phone and I was telling the situation because I buy all my brushes from him, my paint. He has a business like that. He was named best craftsman in France. I mean, phenomenal. And he's like, Pat, how about I come up and give you 2 days and I'll bang out the frames for you. And I'm like, anything you could do. Now, to mind you, to get this guy to do this is almost impossible. Like, this is the best of the best. He works for people like Bezos. I mean, like, this is the top of the top. Wow. And so he comes out, he's doing the frames. And again, we're doing these long days. He gets those done. So he gets the frames done. I'm starting on the third panel at this point, and I'm still like, I'm not going to make it. and I'm feeling super depleted, man. Like really, I go to bed. I'm exhausted. My wife, I mean, I love my wife and my children, but I can't talk to anybody at night. I'm exhausted mentally and physically. There's a mental game and a physical game going at the same point. So every couple of days, I would send a video update to Stallone and Nick. And so I wake up the next day and there's the video from Stallone. And man, I'll tell you, you want a fire put under your ass?
Yep, that's it.
Right. Yeah.
I was like,
Totally.
listen, you got to get it done. So, and I listen, my history within the mural world is I did all the TV shows like Kitchen Nightmares, Bar Rescue, Extreme Makeover. That's where you go in at 11 at night and you have one night to do a project. So I'm used to the pressure and the time frame and so on and so forth. But there is also a realistic ability that a human can do, you know. So I started talking shit to myself. I would be painting, and I'd be like, you know what, man? You talk about how fast you are. You're a fast painter. All right, man. Let's go. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. And I really beat myself up. I'm very apologetic today about it, but we got it done, man. I mean, I got it done literally the day before that I was supposed to leave for Thanksgiving. Wow. Dropped it off to the crew from Rise Up Murals to install, and I basically went to Florida, passing off this mural, sort of hoping that the best is going to happen. And it worked out great. It worked out wonderful. It went up wonderfully. It looks great, and I think everybody's happy.
You know, when you see Stallone there on the day, on Rocky Day, you see all the people gawking at and taking pictures and so on. How do you feel when all your hard work, you sit back? It's like when I put up my Christmas tree and I put up my little village underneath, I put like 14 hours into it, right? And I don't enjoy it because the ornaments are falling off and the lights aren't working. Right. But when you get it all set, you sit back. What do you have? A glass of wine? You sit there. Do you have a coffee? What do you do?
Well, listen, I'm Italian. I enjoy my wine. I did not drink during this whole project. And so, yeah, we popped open a bottle of Camus and we enjoyed it.
Nice.
You know, when it comes to murals, I don't really truly enjoy the murals that I do probably till 6 or 7 months later because I'm still seeing it from a technical aspect. So I love the mural. I'm happy with it. There's nothing that stands out where I feel like I could have done or should have done. So I'm pleased from that aspect, but I probably won't fully enjoy it for a little bit. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, totally. Stacy, what are you thinking so far about this mural and everything he's done with it?
Well, you said it early that you're not just doing one portrait. It's many portraits, all in big one.
They're specific people. Like you can't be off. I mean, it's scrutinized by many different. And listen, we all know the Rocky fans are the most passionate fans in the world. I mean, I'm going to hear about it. I'm already getting messages from Rocky fans in the last couple of days. I've gotten a lot of them where they're questioning different things like the fifth panel. You know, one guy was sort of hitting me up on Instagram. He's like, why isn't, Rocky 5 in there? And I'm like, well, Rocky 5 is in there. He's like, I don't see it. He goes, that's Rocky Balboa. You're mistaken. I'm like, look in the top, man. Rocky 5's in there. Like, I got it.
Yes.
Yep.
I got that when I put the video up last week. People were like, no Rocky 5. How can they hire an artist with no Rocky 5? And I went back and I enlarged it and I circled Rocky and Mickey with the glove and Tommy Gunn fighting. I go, no, the artist got it. It's there. Yeah. But that idea comes from Sly, right? Like Sly says, I want to make sure we get something in there from Rocky 5. Now, do you say, Sly, it might be a little better if we do it this way or that way, or does he just give you the template, like the idea, and then you go with it?
So images are given to me. I place them. They may be like, well, let's put this one here, or let's enlarge this one. There was one point, probably during the middle of it, when I was like, I'm not going to make it in time. And I was like, what if we did the main character in front of the main character in each oval in color? And then the background one's in like a sepia tone wash or like a little bit of off color. And we talked about that for a second, but we decided not to do that. And I was like, damn it. But it's fine. It worked out.
Yeah, I gotcha.
In retrospect.
Wow.
That was brilliant. All right. Now listen, before we go ahead, Stacy.
No, I was just saying that, the rising pressure, I was, reading about you and everybody's just a beginner at some point in their career. And then there's this, this rising success and you've painted for a lot of people, I mean, tons of big names. And so, it sort of gives me that Rocky 2 feel like, you get one big name and then you get another big name. And then like, how do you deal with the rising pressure as each, client becomes more notable? It's exciting, but it's got to be like, whoa, I better bring it. I mean, you're saying that with Stallone now, like, how did you manage that as you were going along?
when I first started 25 years ago, I was 22, 23 years old, and I just had my daughter, and we were broke. We were broke kids, right?
Right.
And so I knew early on, being a mural artist, I can't charge by the hour, so I charge by the job. And so it's all about speed. So in the beginning of my career, I focused on speed, and unfortunately not necessarily accuracy, but I was like, I got to paint fast. The faster I paint, the more money I make.
Mm-hmm.
And then over the years, the talent and technique started catching up with the speed, and now we had this sort of perfect storm where I can paint fast and still be efficient and make a lot of money doing so. So it's weird when it comes to the celebrity work, even like the really public commercial work. Like I feel pressure, but it's pressure I put on myself, but it's not because of who I'm painting for necessarily, but I know what it's going to do for my career and the eyeballs that are going to see it. And that's what it's all about, is having, it's great that Stallone and Nick and everybody's happy with this mural, but I care about what's going to happen the rest of the year. Like, who's going to see it? Who's going to be inspired by it? Are there artists that are going to want to become murals? Because that's what happened to me. I saw a mural in Middletown, Connecticut, and I was like, that's amazing. I want to do that. Because I was a doodler in elementary school.
You saw a mural when you were in the backseat of the car with your parents. You see a mural and you say, I want to do this. Do me a favor. Tell me about Dee Dee's restaurant.
Dee Dee's restaurant, that was the start of my work in Texas, really. So Dee Dee's restaurant is owned by a gentleman named Scott Hoffner, who his father went to college with my uncle and used to visit us in Connecticut growing up. My mother became very close friends with his mother, and his mother passed away from cancer as he was opening this restaurant up. Dee Dee is the nickname they gave her. And so I saw all that, and I reached out to him on Facebook. I was like, listen, I have 4 days open in my schedule. In honor of your mom, I'd love to come out and do a painting on the side of your restaurant for the opening. On me, no cost, but I only have 4 days. So I came up with a design that I could do in 4 days. It looked bigger than it actually was.
Smart.
And wrote my name up the side of the building. So whenever I write my name up the side of the building, that's my marketing. And from there, I was picked up by a developer in town. And then I ended up spending about 3 years in Frisco, Texas, just painting murals all. So this one town, this one main street in itself, I think I have 8 massive murals on buildings.
Yes.
You did one that's what, 1,200 square foot?
I mean, I've done a few. Which one are you thinking?
What's the one with the DeLorean?
Oh, that's the Ford building. So that's Back to the Future. Yeah.
Yeah. So so this is a great series, a great movie. We love it.
It's a great mural.
Whose idea, right, Stacy? Whose idea is it to do the DeLorean and go that route?
I have to give credit to the developer on that. So we were coming up, we wanted to give homage to the Ford brothers that initially inhabited that building. Now it's a boutique and a fitness center. So I basically looked up Ford and that old school feel, and I came up with this. And early on, we decided to do it in black and white. So I came up with this design that showcased the old Ford brothers, the building there, and then the developer was like, "What if we add like Back to the Future in there?" And I was like, "That's awesome." And I was like, "We should do that in color, though." So it sort of flipped, and it was definitely a good sort of partnership on the design.
I've never seen up close a 17-foot long DeLorean. Never. I cannot wait to see this thing.
It's cool, man. I mean, it's full size. Jeez, so people stand in front of it, they act like they're driving it, and it's very cool.
Great.
That's
I
awesome.
love that. I love that.
Yeah. I love the one with the hands, the 4 hands sort of grabbing in this. I was like, that's a great one.
That's 2 blocks from the DeLorean, and that one I had 4 days to do. I did that in 4 days as well.
You did that in 4 days?
I had to fly out to LA for like a big event, and that was a time crunch. Yeah.
Your first mural, 1995, Boca Raton. It's a nightclub. Tell me about that.
Oh man, so I'm a kid at this point. I'm 19 years old. So this is me doing murals before I became professional. And my friend was working in a nightclub. We lived together. We were all broke, and he was like he was a guy that clicked the people when they come in, Yeah. And they needed a mural for reggae night, and I was like, I'll do that mural, 100%. And so I had a budget of $500. I spent it all on supplies, not knowing, and that was my first mural. From there, I went on to do a mural at Lantana Boulevard, I&J Station House. This is about 45 minutes north of that one in Boca Raton. It was where I valet parked. I was a valet parker, and they wanted a mural. And this was my big first lesson in the mural world. I came up with the mural design. He said yes, went out there, killed it, and came back and said, that's going to be $2,000. And he goes, we didn't talk about a price. And I was like, oh. So he gave me what he gave me. I said, thank you. And I realized I should probably give the price before I actually do the piece.
You see, learning all the time.
All the time.
All the time. That's amazing. Now, listen,
Yeah.
here's the thing. This is a Rocky podcast. So I want to talk about what this character means to you. How old were you when you first saw a Rocky movie? And what was your first Rocky movie?
So I remember, man, I don't even know how old I was. I was probably 6 or 7, maybe 8 years old. And we would go over to my cousin's house for Thanksgiving every year. Big Italian family. Everybody's there. We got all the folding tables lined up going into the living room. You know what I mean? Like, because the house is wine everywhere. And while, listen, this is an old school Italian family. While the women were cooking in the kitchen, the men were in the living room watching Rocky. And Rocky 3 would come on. And I remember watching that one. And the first one I saw at a theater was Rocky 4, as I'm a little older at that point.
Okay.
And I remember going to see that in the Middletown movie theater and coming out just like pumped, like to no end. I mean, it was crazy.
Do you have a favorite Rocky of all the Rockies, or is it just across the board? You just love it all as a series?
You know what? My son was asking me that last night, and it's tough because I want to say Rocky Balboa. I loved Rocky Balboa. That was just such like a real modern version of Rocky 1 in my mind, where it's more about the story and the characters and not even necessarily about the fight per se. But then if you ask me, what about Rocky 4? I love Rocky 4. Rocky 3, I love Rocky 3. Rocky 2, I mean, they're amazing. Right. And even Rocky 5, I love for certain reasons.
Me too.
So...
Pat, here's the thing. Stacy and I talk about this. I talk about it with Rocky fans on my tours all the time. A lot of times it depends on our emotional status, where we are.
Totally.
Rocky 1 and Rocky Balboa are my favorites. But there are times I am in a Rocky 3 mode, where I'm in a Rocky 5, okay? And I'm in this place where I need that eye of the tiger. Yeah. I need the running on the beach. I need the electric feeling that's in the ring. And when, the second fight with Clubber Lang, you're not so bad. My mother hits on that. But, things of this nature, you just never know. And I do think it is our emotional state.
But it sounds like you're on the same page as me, Mike, with the first one in Rocky Balboa being that really dramatic, theatrical, sort of emotional, it's the character-driven piece, whereas the other ones are a little bit everything. But those two are just, they're people, just people being people, right?
That's just it. It was like a window into the lives of these strangers that we would become like family to all of us. And it just so happens to be, oh, by the way, he's a boxer. This was just a love story. And Balboa, to me, is the continuation of the love story. And
even with the son, you bring in the son and his battle with, being in that shadow and him finally being like, hey, man, what the heck? What are you doing?
The speech. It ain't about how hard you hit. Greatest speech. I mean, it's better than Quint's Indianapolis speech on Jaws, and that's a great speech. It's better than that.
There's no speech that gets you more pumped up than that one.
Right.
It's so applicable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so
to everything.
I mean, my God, you could have even said that to yourself when you're doing the belt mural, because you could do all your murals when you have it paced out and you have time and no problem. But now you're under the gun, and this is for Rocky fans, something you are very understanding of. You are one yourself, and you're like, okay, like you said,
you got to come in.
You got to come in and do it, and you trash talk yourself, and that really is your version of it ain't about how hard it. I mean, I love that.
It's awesome.
I love that.
So my wife got me years ago. Let me get it. I think I have it here. 1 second. Let me grab this. Hold on. Okay. She got me this beautiful bracelet for Father's Day. And I should have been wearing it today. And it basically says it's all about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Because she knows how hard I work in life. And let me see if I can do that. And it's beautiful.
I like that.
I love that.
Because I love that thought. It's true. Like, life is very difficult. And I'm an entrepreneur. And not only am I an entrepreneur, but I'm an artist. Nobody needs what I do in life. And for 25 years, I've supported a family, 3 kids. And it's because when things got bad or rough or, you just keep pushing, man. You don't stop. And that's life in general.
That's right. And I tell you, there is nothing that will soothe a savage beast like the arts. So whether it's painting, drawing, writing, acting, music, these are things that I think we do have to have in our lives. Whatever we consider art. Okay, I think we have some people get off on music more, some people on the painting, on the writing, whatever it is. I find that more important than quite a lot of things that other people find more important in life. So that's
It's an outlet, Mike. Mike, it's an outlet. We're all pent up. We have all these emotions. They can be good, they can be bad, and the outlet, whether you're listening to music, writing music, singing, doing art, it doesn't matter what it is, but that's our outlet to get it out of our system. When you do your tours, that's your outlet. That's your creative. That's your art, man. I mean, it is what it is.
Totally, 100%. That's what Stallone recognized years ago. That's what helped me become friends with him. But the tours, and it was insane. Stacy, your thoughts so far?
Well, it's funny because he's all the things, you know, he understands, Mike, you know, your love for Rocky and the tours, but he's a writer, he's a painter. He understands the passion of painting. So he gets, you know, he gets you. He's going to connect with writers. He's going to connect with painters. He's going to, when you wear all the hats, you can connect with a lot of people.
And he knows. I mean, I think any creative person knows that when you're a creative individual and you're pouring yourself into something, it's a part. It really, truly is a part of yourself.
Right.
You know, when I would do a 12, 14-hour day, I'm depleted mentally, not only physically. You know, that mental part is out there. I mean, that painting that's all my blood, sweat, and tears right there. Done. You know?
Right.
With the recent passing of Burt Young, you have some beautiful pictures that you sent me. I just wanted to show those in some of your Burt art. I just love this.
That's the Rocky album, isn't it?
Yes. And then here you have it signed by Hulk Hogan. What a clever idea to paint this on the album. That's awesome. What was he like? Tell us about Burt.
I love Burt. I mean, I thought he was a sweet guy before 11 a.m. You know what I mean? Like he liked to drink a little bit. He got a little difficult after 11, but he was a big teddy bear. He's a lover of the arts, and he was an artist himself. I remember the first time I went to his house, probably, I don't know, 12, 13 years ago. I walked in and there were just hundreds of paintings stacked everywhere. And
wow.
He was like using
did he still have the socks? Did he still have the socks in between them?
No, I didn't see the socks.
What he used to do, he had invited me out there years ago, and he used to have black dress socks, old ones, and he would tie it in a knot, and he would put it between the paintings as buffers so it didn't lay and stick against each other. He might have. He might have. I don't know. I said, Bert, what's with the socks? He goes, well, it's a buffer. He goes, I'm not going to pay what they charge for a professional buffer. He goes, that's crazy. So you're there with Burt Young. Oh, there you are at the steps. This was in Bert's Paulie's Not Dead stage.
Yes. So he had me help him out with his social media, and Creed was the word was it was coming out, and he found out he was dead. I don't think he really understood why. And he felt like he was getting snubbed, which obviously he wasn't. It made sense with the story.
Right.
And so we came out with the shirts, Paulie's.net. We designed those and sold like a limited edition amount. I have 2 left.
Yeah.
And I kept myself. And he was like, I want to go to the steps. And I was like, all right. So I brought my cousin, who's a cop, and a couple other people. And we went actually down to where Mickey's gym was filmed.
Yeah, I missed you by about 5 minutes. I had done a tour that morning. I literally missed you because I had friends of mine that were in the area, and they said, no, Mike, we were talking to you. You left, and this guy comes around with Burt Young. And I said, oh, Jesus, just missed him.
It was amazing because we'd be standing there, and then people would be like, and this is the little locations, but it was a statue where it was crazy because the statue, we get there, we do the steps, go down the statue. There's nobody really there, maybe 2 or 3 people just kind of, meandering. And then all of a sudden, people caught wind and this massive crowd formed. Right. It was insane on how quick it happened. And I don't even know where everybody came from. And so it was a very cool experience. It was definitely magical.
Stacy, don't you think it's amazing to have someone on the podcast who was an actual friend of Burt Young's?
Right.
You know, it's like, I'm sure you're a fan, Pat, of Burt's work, but you knew the guy. You knew him pretty well.
It changes. I think, at first you're like, all right, this is a character in a movie and here's his real name and blah, blah, blah. But as you spend time with different individuals, they become people. Like I'm very close with Chevy Chase. I brought him to the event yesterday.
You sure did.
Right.
Yes.
And, we've become friends over the years. So I don't really see him. I know he's that actor and I know he's that famous and blah, blah, blah. But we don't have that relationship and I don't see him like that anymore. It's only when we go into public, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
So Burt and I, we had a nice, sweet relationship. I had a restaurant up in Middletown, and he came to visit that. He came to my studio a couple times, and I used to go to his house all the time in, Port Jefferson?
Washington.
Port Washington.
Yeah.
What a pain to get there, man. I mean,
I know. I know.
Crazy.
But the view over the harbor was nice, though.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great, and I really I was so thrilled. I didn't realize you knew him as well as you did. Thank you for that insight. That means a great
Sweet
deal.
guy. Sweet guy, man. He's like, to me, he reminded me of any kind of like Italian father. Like they have that sweet side, and then they have that grumpy, sort of irritable side. But,
Right.
but they don't like that side. They just can't help it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they have that that loyalty, that big heart, and he was that guy.
Right. Gotcha.
Stacy, as we wind down, any other thoughts? Any other questions for Patrick? Anything you got?
Yeah, I love your art. I've been just looking at everything. I mean, I think the painting and the accuracy, matching it with speed, like I don't know if that's a pressure I could handle, but to have speed and accuracy like that, and Sly's face isn't easy. You know what I'm saying? People either get his face or they don't. And then I wanted to show these great Hulk Hogan photos. Let's see. Here's a picture of you guys together, and look at how beautiful this is.
That's phenomenal.
It's awesome. And
That's a
is
2-hour one. That was done for him. So that was a 2-hour painting, and that was another 2-hour painting.
Wow.
So I time-lapsed them, and he used them as giveaways. And then I did the record, obviously, for myself. And I have some belts that I did through Cardillo's weight belt, which is he's amazing.
Right.
That thing I love. I've been offered tons of money for that many times. And
I'll bet.
I love it, man. It's just a great piece. It's so much fun. It's personal. And Hulk is one of the nicest guys in the world. I mean, people ask me, they're always like, who are the nicest celebrities you met? And Hulk is definitely up there. Just a genuine, nice guy.
Yeah. No, I've heard that.
Here's Mike Tyson, who I love.
That glove scares me. Look at the face.
Here we go. With
there he is.
Yeah, love that.
Tyson was the one. Tyson was one of them where I was kind of like a little boy. I mean, I grew up watching him with my uncle. That one, when I got the call for that, I was like, whoa. And then when they paid me, they actually paid me through PayPal. So I got it through a PayPal, and I was like, this is strange, man. This is really strange. But that was a cool piece to do. I love that one. I really took a lot of time on the small nuanced details on that, but I had plenty of time.
Yeah.
And that was a fun interaction. I did a couple for him. So
yeah, here it is.
So that one, I didn't even know he was biting my ear till afterwards when I saw the picture.
Oh, really?
That's so awesome.
Unbelievable.
Is that your studio, or is that at Tyson's place?
That's Tyson's ranch in LA. So what I did was I shipped out to LA, Nancy Hadley, and she stretched it on the wood, and then I met her out there and we brought it to him.
That's insane.
That's
What does he say to you?
That was a referral from Dennis Rodman. There's a weird rabbit hole we can go down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when you're standing there, when you're look at that, Jesus, when you're standing there and you're talking to Tyson and he's looking at the painting, what does he say to you? And while he's saying it to you, are you punching yourself in the brain saying this is real? Like, this is a guy I was blown away with the way he fought, and here I am standing next to him. What goes through your mind?
Listen, going in there, it was funny because I went there with Dennis Rodman and his girlfriend, and I'd done a painting. So Dennis had called me 4 days earlier. I was going out to LA to do some work with him, and he called me 4 days earlier. He's like, hey, I'm doing some work with Tyson. He's like, I want you to do a painting of him and his wife for me to gift to them. So again, short time limit. Story gets even weirder. So I start the painting. Halfway through it on day one. I think I had 3 days, actually. It was Friday, Saturday. I was leaving Sunday. Started on Friday. Friday night, I'm halfway done. I get a call from this gentleman named Darren, who represented Darren Prince, who represented Chevy Chase. And he's like, Chevy's in Rhode Island. I live in Connecticut. He's like, I think he wants to do some work with you. He's only going to be here tomorrow. Can you come up and see him? And I'm like, all right. So I stop what I'm doing. I drive up to Rhode Island, say hi to him, get the intro, come back, finish the painting, roll it up, fly to LA, meet Dennis. We walk into Tyson's place, and we walk in, and all I hear is, Rodman, get over here. And there were these like little side offices, you know what I mean? So we walk in this little side office, and it's just billow of smoke, and Tyson's there with a bunch of dudes, and he's got a little joint behind his ear, and Dennis unrolls a painting of him and his wife, and he starts going crazy. He's like, that's amazing. He's like, come over here, sit down. I got to get you on the podcast. And we're sitting there, and he's like, you know what? He goes, I want you to paint me a big painting, and I want horns coming out of my ears. And I was like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, we
How
keep
much of that
talking
are
about a
you
little.
smoking, Mike?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, oh, all right, all right. So, maybe 10, 15 minutes later, I'm talking to his wife in the other room, and I'm like, Kiki, does he really want that? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, all right. I mean, it's going to be a big piece. She's like, that's fine. We have a place for it. So I go back to Tyson, and I'm like, all right, man. I'm like, so let me take a picture of your face. Like, pose how you want to pose. So the face he's making that painting is a picture I took, and
Yeah.
that was it, man. Horns is. I mean, there it is.
That is
Horns. I
so
love
funny.
That's amazing.
fun painting.
Seriously.
Yep.
And I just wanted to show you did a painting for Dennis Rodman. Hang on a second. Let me find
Done a
it.
bunch for him.
Yeah, here. This is great. Look at this. Amazing. Beautiful.
That's
one of my
insane.
favorites.
Yep.
And he's such a Rocky fan, a Stallone fan, Dennis is. He's always representing with the Stallone Shop clothes. It's amazing.
Yep. He's good like that. He's friendly with Nick as well, so I'm sure he's supporting.
That's amazing. Yeah. It really is.
Good
Stacy, before I ask my last questions here, anything else you got?
Thank you. We were so grateful to have you, especially the timing, and I'm so glad we got you before you went on vacation. And do enjoy your vacation. That is some well-deserved rest that is coming your way.
No. I already have my vacation. Tomorrow I go back to work.
Oh,
so
that's right.
Okay.
You're busy. That's right.
Yeah,
right,
flying the whole month. Yeah, no, the vacation's done. It was like
this.
this.
And boy, are your arms going to be tired.
But I loved what you said earlier. It's a testament to your talent, because you're like, what I do for a living, people don't necessarily need, but you've attained massive success with your talent. I mean, it moves people, whether they need it or not. Their souls need it, and I think that is what is working for you, because you look at it. All your paintings really made me be still and just study it. And I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. So you're very talented, and I think that's why you're successful without, what folks need or not need. It's soul need for sure.
I think people love art whether they know it or not. And I always get asked with the building murals, they're like, are you afraid it's going to get like vandalized? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I've done murals on buildings for years, from New York City to California, Texas, Florida. And, I think people who are vandals are creative types as well. And I think everybody just sort of respects the mural. I don't know. I've never had it happen.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, it is Philly. And so I was a little concerned.
Maybe I spoke too soon. Should I knock on wood?
I know. Yeah, I know. Philly, I don't know. There's some dementia that goes on with some Philadelphia people there. Not all of them. They're all great people, but, some of them are a little touched. But I'll tell you about these murals, and I know what murals mean to people. Kind of getting away from the Rocky stuff for a moment. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and it's a home of Dunder Mifflin, and they just did a giant mural of the office there, and it's beautiful. And every time I go in, I just go park alongside the street and I just stare at it for a few moments, and that's awesome. Always people coming by taking pictures of it. It's in a bank parking lot, and it's gorgeous. Anyways,
it's awesome.
So two quick things. One, I want to say I've gotten to know a lot of artists over the years, and you are by far the most talented artist and established artist. I mean, I am a big fan of Rocky art, and I know what I'm talking about in that field as what's good and what's kind of like average. And you're so far above good.
Thank you.
It's just excellent.
Yeah.
So my last question, and we'll let you get out of here. I know you've had some time with Sly, but let's say that was under rather loud circumstances. Let's say you're in an office building and you don't expect it. And you open up you go to the elevator and you're in there with Sylvester Stallone. You've got 30 seconds and you haven't met. What do you say to him? What would you say to him in those 30 seconds?
I would look. I think some of the success I've had with celebrities over the years is I don't gawk. I probably wouldn't be like, I'm a big fan. I know I wouldn't. I would probably say hello like I would anybody else. Hey, how you doing? But I would do that to anybody. So I think my success comes as I treat everybody the same. And a disappointing answer, but it's the truth.
It's not a disappointing answer, and that's what I love is just the honesty, because people sometimes try to amp it up or whatever. That's who you are. That's why you're such a success. You've always kept your head down. You've let the work represent itself, and that's what happened with me and my tours. I kept my head down. Stallone saw it, and boom, one thing after another happened. And my friend I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming here.
Thanks for having me.
Until I see you again, keep punching.
Keep punching.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I mean,
amazing. I love his journey through the whole thing, though. Like
brilliant,
learning about his history and where he began, and to hear how young he was as a father. And all right, I got mouths to feed, and your talent. He's very talented, and it's hard to feed a family as an artist, and you've got to be really good to be able to do that.
And you know what? To be hand selected.
Mm-hmm.
To be hand selected by Stallone, and of course the leader of the team, Nick. So we always say it takes a village to raise a child,
right?
A village to bring the Sly Stallone Shop to life. And Sly hired Nick, and Nick knows what he's doing, and Nick has brought in a great team. So I am just glad of all the artists that they went through out there. They chose probably the most qualified for this job.
Right. That his mural art is stunning, but certainly go to his Instagram page, because he's got everything there too, and it's absolutely beautiful. So
that's fantastic. Stacy, as we wind this down, what do we got going on next?
All right. Well, I just wanted to give a shout out. As much fun as this episode was, I just wanted to let people know, and I do have permission from Mikey Gonzalez to just reveal a rather serious situation going on with his dear, sweet little daughter, Brooklyn. Here she is. She's 3 years old. And then he took this picture for us in a t-shirt, which was very sweet. But poor Brooklyn, she's been diagnosed with a cancer. Forgive me, I forgot the word, but it has to do with a liver tumor. Now, the tough part of it is the poor thing does have to go through chemo. She does have to go through surgery to remove it. But the outlook is good in terms of,
thank God.
Her prognosis
wonderful.
And everything.
Yeah.
So we just want to send you, Mike and Sybil and Brooklyn, our love and prayers and hugs and well wishes. And I, as a nurse, she is going to be okay. I believe that with all my heart, with everything that I've read about the specific cancer that she has. But the journey's going to be tough. And along the way, we're all here for you. You reach out. There's a lot of people who have gone through cancer in this bubble. They're there to support you. And Mike's only request, and I'm going to put up the name of the cancer right here. Mike's only request is anyone out there who has any experience with this particular kind of pediatric cancer to please feel free to reach out to him. Any help for that family, they could use it.
And I also think she's going to be okay because her dad has the Rocky philosophy that he lives, and he's going to impart that on her as she goes through this journey. Unfortunately, it's a journey she must go through.
Right.
But this is something, when she has two great parents, Mike and Sybil, this is going to be just wonderful. And I wonderful in the sense that they are going to hold her hand and be there.
Right.
The entire time. They're just good parents, and all the best to you guys.
They're going to be victorious for sure. And and Mike is, I think he's episode 51. I'll correct it if I'm wrong, but he was one of our guests, and he was a fun interview.
It was a great interview. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a ton of fun. So if you guys want to catch up with him, that's episode 51. So, all right, my dear, that was quite 96. Patrick Ganino.
I love it. We're building. We're building to a big triple-digit number here.
Yes, we are. We are.
Hopefully.
And thank you to Patrick for coming again in your busy schedule. I'm grateful.
Stacy, where can people find you?
I'm over at Had Me at Yo on Instagram, as well as the Rocky Files, and then on Facebook we are at the Rocky Files podcast. And Michael, what about you?
You can find me at the Yo Philly Film Tour on Instagram, over there on TikTok, on Facebook, same thing. I'm hardly on Facebook though. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but I know. Instagram seems to be such a nice little happy home. Yeah, I like that. No trolls over there. Anyways, I also wrote a little book. I've got my copy today.
Yay! Take that.
You can see all my little notes that I have. Yes.
Yep.
And so here we go. Cue the Rocky music. You can get anywhere books are sold. There is a little movie, a documentary about me that has a surprise guest at the end called The Pretender by the very talented Jimmy Toscano and his work partner, Danny Ganino, who are out of Detroit. These guys are killers in this world. They totally know what they're doing. So go check that out anywhere documentaries are. Amazon Prime, Tubi Television, Peacock Television. Stacy, we're out of here.
Have a good rest of your week, my friend.
Yes, enjoy it, because I'm going to go do some Christmas shopping. Until later, keep punching, everybody.
Keep punching.